can get a peace deal between Israel and Syria, we'll probably end up giving Syria another $1 billion too. Um, all of that to sort of maintain sort of stability there. So there was a time, I think, that you could make an argument that Israel needed this money. But that time has come and gone. Israel is a very, very wealthy, very powerful, totally developed country. It's not a developing country. It's not a third world country anymore. It was, but it's not anymore. In fact, their economy is doing way better than our economy right now, actually. It's way better than our economy. But again, this is not up for discussion. There is not, I'm not, it sounds silly to say this, but there is no debate in Washington about this issue. No one questions this. No one stands up and says, I mean, not in Washington, outside of Washington, yeah. I mean, everyone talks about this. But inside of Washington, nobody talks about this. It's not like as though there's some discussion about whether we should talk about maybe lowering this money, or does Israel really need it anymore, etc. The money that we give them comes out to, from what I understand, about $800 per Israeli per year, some large amount of money. So we just hand every Israeli almost $1,000 every year.
So there's no work being done until this helps the creation of two states then.
Say that again?
There's no work being done. There's no work. There's no help being provided for the creation of two states.
Oh no, there are hundreds of NGOs working on this two-state solution. There are dozens of Israeli NGOs. Peace Now, is a major Israeli NGO. Like I said, the Israelis themselves, the vast majority of the population, they want this. They want a two-state solution. They're happy. They want to just be in peace, living side by side with a Palestinian state, as do the vast majority of the Palestinians. And there are, dozens and dozens of organizations on the ground right now in Israel working on this process. Well, that's what this is. That's what, what I was telling you about this summer program is. You get to go there and see what's going on, and help in this process of bringing Israelis and Palestinians together to try to deal with this problem. So there are, and then there are countless organizations in the United States. There are evangelical organizations in the United States who are working towards a two-state solution. But the powers working against it are at this point so rich and so powerful that it's really hard to sort of get any kind of traction.
And do you think that sort of putting up money against Israel, what can Israel possibly do? Like, are they going to attack us or?
Israel?
Yeah.
Oh no, they can't. No, Israel can't do anything.
So what happens? Like, why are we so scared?
It's the political establishment here that would not allow it. In other words, if President Obama said, that he's going to cut off funding to Israel unless it stops all settlement activity, that would be it for President Obama. He would finish his term, but that's it. And by the way, that would be it for the entire Democrats too, because if you're even remotely related to President Obama, by party, you're done. In fact, his own party would come out against it. His own party would stand up and rail against that notion. The amount of money that the pro-Israel lobby here in the United States funnels to Congress is in the tens of billions. Almost without exception, every single congressman, senator, and, by the way, president, including Obama, receives millions of dollars from these pro-Israel lobby groups. If they go against sort of those wishes, then that money goes away. And that money goes to their opponents instead. This has happened repeatedly. Repeatedly, this has happened. So everybody knows you do not cross, the pro-Israel lobby, or you will pay the price for it. Now, let me explain something. This isn't sinister or evil. This is how Washington works. The same is true about the NRA. You don't cross the NRA. You piss off the NRA, you're screwed. The same is true for the unions. You don't cross the unions. Obama is equally in bed with the unions how you become president. You can't just accidentally become president without these, hundreds of millions of dollars funneling through these lobbying organizations. So I'm not saying that the pro-Israel lobby is evil or sinister. They're actually quite good at what they do. That's how this country works. Lobbyists run this country. And of all the lobbyists who run this country, the pro-Israel lobby is one of the most successful. Not as successful as the NRA, the National Rifle Association is much more successful. And perhaps even not as successful as the tobacco industry. The tobacco industry is pretty successful too, but nevertheless successful enough where any decision, not just about Israel, but any decision about the Middle East, how we handle Iran, how we handle Iraq, how we handle Syria, is essentially has to be, approved by this lobby. If they don't like it, it's not happening. Or if it is happening, it's happening because somebody was brave enough to actually make it happen and just sort of deal with the consequences. Everyone thought Obama was going to be that president, but he has absolutely, totally, catastrophically failed to be so.
Did he win the Nobel Peace Prize for that? Or...
No, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for not being George Bush. It's true. I mean, it's absolutely true. He got that award, 2 weeks into his presidency. Really, he got that award for not being George Bush. That's what he got it for. Okay, so you have all the information you need now. You're almost done with the book. Got 1 week left on the book. Next week, we're going to basically do the same thing that we did in our final week with the Iran section. On Tuesday, Harold will first begin the class by going over some things that you need to know about the paper. What you should be focusing on as you're finishing the book, how you should be thinking about the paper. And then we'll begin the first section of our film, The Lemon Tree, which again, not related to your book. On Thursday, we will finish The Lemon Tree, and you will turn in your papers, and that's our last class. And then, we can talk to Harold. I know a lot of you have got like a million things to do. I'm totally, totally open with talking to Harold about maybe pushing the due date of your last paper a little bit into finals week, if that's what you want. Is it what you want?